We will go a lot into managed payments, as I say, but let's start off with just a few things, and I'll reiterate this. I do see quite a few people in that are Patreon, so tomorrow's video, last half of the stamps for those in Patreon, public domain, bolos, all these are shot. Public domain bolos is, I think, almost edited completely, and then the third video, which I think will be up Sunday, is a toy video on bolos. It's going to have some tips on specifics. Public domain video 2 is like pretty much all bolos and ideas for public domain. Again, those in Patreon, I got bombarded with a lot of questions. Perfect, happy. I like discussing that topic. You'll see some really honest, sincere examples of things. Some of it I've talked about before, but we're going to go into a lot of detail on legality, I think, too. Again, I'm no legal expert, but I'll give you examples so you can judge it on your own, and we'll talk about the law, and I'll show you some pages on that in there too. So anyway, that should answer anybody's basics on all the public domain. I think that one will be upset. I'm going to try and get it up tomorrow just because I want to catch back up and get stuff off my plate. We had something thrown into our laps yesterday and then again today, so things took a real good turn these last 2 days. I got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, as I said, and some really good news popped up, which, you know, usually things go pretty good, but it's nice to have some good stuff happen. So anyway, welcome everybody in this evening. I think Duncan was the official first person in on, geez, hang on just a second here. I got to use a couple screens here. First person in. It looks like we're a little choppy again, which it shouldn't be. Yeah, that is so weird. It seems to catch up after we've been running it for a little bit, which makes no sense. Let me kill off a little couple extra things real quick. See if we can't speed this up just a hair here. Okay, hopefully that's a little better. I don't see anything wrong on my end. Again, it does seem to be... Do we have sound still? No sound still? You gotta be kidding me. Hang on, let's see if we can't mess with the sound. I got sound on this end. Maybe I'm just behind on the feed here. Can you hear me? Can somebody shout out, make sure I have sound? Okay, sound is working good now. Yeah, it seems to be every time when I start out on YouTube. YouTube is changing the live feed studio, and I don't know if everybody's got it changed over or not, but I've got a lot of different things on there, and it doesn't even function the way it did before. So this is when it seems to have started. I've looked into it, and it's really kind of annoying. Hopefully they'll fix it where it's going better. We don't have a big choice on it. If you see the back of the house sometimes on like live shows, there's some difference in the live studio area up there. And they've added some features, so hopefully it keeps going. I heard somebody say that they were going to add the ability to have people on straight through YouTube. Again, I don't know if that's true. Somebody who seems to usually know what's going on told me that. So all I can tell you is the guy's been right like 98% of the time. So I have to take him for what he's saying on me, I have to say. But anyway, Duncan's got a comment here, and we're going to go, as I said, into managed payments very specifically. We'll talk. Anybody's got questions on managed payments, let's keep those to start with. Last week in eBay's sales and views dropped off altogether, several days, all multiple page errors. Then suddenly midweek, all the sales rolled in again. Now again, Duncan's in Australia, so his site isn't connected to the U.S. site. I have to say, this past weekend we had days where we were like 45% up. I mean, it was a really good weekend. Even today, I'm like way up. Before I even got up, we already had 400 in sales in, which is pretty good for us just overnight, just considering the time frame. Most of it's U.S. buyers and things like that, and time zones. So it was like in the middle of the night I sold all that stuff. And then the usual sales. So I really can't complain. My numbers right now, I'm up still. I don't remember the exact percentage, maybe 11%. I'm still up, but I'm not up as much as I was. I'm like down like 3% or somewhere in that range. Not down, but I should say I'm only up 11% versus 14%. But I think the way the sales have been coming in right now, sales will probably end up on the weekend by Sunday, which is when I close my week off. by Sunday evening. I'll probably be up over that 14% if it keeps going like this. We've been sending out a ton of offers to watchers, and they've been netting us a ton of sales. We hit on a couple areas that we hadn't been messing with much. And once I started bombing the stuff up on eBay, it's just been selling like mad left and right and stuff. So we've switched up, and I've got some other things going up that I hadn't planned on listing, and see what happens with that too. Since if I can boost one category like 30% on its own, I got 10% up in a couple other categories, or 9 to 11%, 10% rounded. But so if I can boost some other stuff, I had, I think, Evan was here taking photos on the stand today, so we're going to play some other things and see. You know, if something's not working again, I say, you know, you should investigate that. And not that we weren't working, but I was down 3%, so I look into it. So if one category has another possibility, I flood that category while sales are up in that category, and I don't worry as much about some of the categories that are a little slower. That's why I say if you play your cards right and work your store, there isn't much of a slowdown. Again, at the end of the month, I don't think I'm going to be slowed down. I do projections, sales projections, you know, on a daily basis. And where I'm going now, I'm veering back up again with a few changes and some listings we put up. You can, if you got enough inventory, or even if you don't have a ton but have some decent inventory that you just haven't listed, you can boost your sales right back up by popping a bunch of stuff up. Just sitting down, don't go source if your sales are a little slacked. Don't go sourcing that day, and just list the entire day from morning till night. You know, one 12-hour day ain't going to kill you. Pardon me for just a second here. Yeah, I forgot my drink sitting on the other side over there. Let's hop into, I wish the feed was playing. I don't know if it's just mine, but it looks like I am lagging. But on my end here, it doesn't say anything. Again, I did report this to YouTube, but there's nothing I can do again, and don't know what's going to happen until the show is live. So now it's smooth working now. Okay. Yeah, if somebody's in the chat before a certain point, I can only see chat until I go back and replay it up to a certain point. It cuts. I'm sure it does that with most everybody else. On my end, I can only see it up to a certain point. So if it's older than a certain time frame from now, or there's more comments, it pretty much buries anything on top of that, and I can't see it, so I do apologize if I miss anything. I'm gonna bop on down here. I see Kathy's in here, Australia as well. Charles, how are you doing? Let's hit Charles, and then we'll pop on down and see who else is in the house. Christmas sales. Now, I've been thinking about this, and I've been talking to some people who do other things, toy guy, book guy, magazines. I talked to like, I don't know how many, 6, 7 different genres or niches that I do into, and I've been trying to get a consensus from some folks as to what's going to be hot. Now, Dom, our good friend, Primetime Treasure Hunter, of course, he had a real good sale today. I won't blow it at him. I'll let him, but there's stuff that's really hot right now still, high dollar stuff in many, many niches. I'm not seeing the high dollar stuff in clothing. And again, I'm not trying to dog on clothing at all. We did very well on clothing. I just didn't like it. If you're in clothing, play your field. It's going into winter, so heavier stuff. Coats and jackets are what I'm hearing is going the most. Vintage seems to still be selling. Old school 90s stuff goes very well for us, or it did. I don't sell it anymore, but I've always done very, very well with stuff like that. It's actually gained ground. My kids and what I see out at college, because I'm out at college quite a lot, University of Toledo, some of the vintage styles are way back in, and the kids seem to be buying the vintage shirts and stuff like that. So from what I see, there's areas that, even in clothing, that are up versus other areas. Of course, coats, I'm a leather coat person. I always did excellent in leather coats. I still got like 60. I was thinking about putting a video together if anybody's interested in seeing what maybe to look for in leather. It's all stuff that I wear, so if anybody's interested, I love vintage leather jackets, just FYI. Christmas sales, I think if you're in the right category, you're going to do very well. That's my honest opinion. The folks that are laid off, again, my heart goes out to everybody. I don't wish any ill harm on anybody in any way, shape, or form. So, it's out of their control. I do understand the situations. So certain items people aren't going to be buying unless they desperately need those items. But a certain other percentage of the population, and as well globally, doesn't have that concern. A lot of the stuff that I sell is sold to people who already have extra income. I mean, most normal person's not going to spend like $500 on a record or $2,000 on a record, a single 45 with only 2 songs on it, unless they've got enough extra money not to have to worry. And that kind of stuff's still selling. I'm selling records constantly right now. So I really think that for certain areas, if the demographics of your customer base are people in that range who have expendable income, you're going to do pretty well, I think. I think it's driven a lot of people who normally retirees and things. Again, I'm not meaning any disrespect to anybody by the comment. Marketing wise, you check the demographics and you figure out who your market is and all that stuff. It's just something you do in marketing and business in general. And I had to do that when we figured out like radio announcements. Since I used to do radio things, and there's TV commercials that I've been in and stuff that we did for some of the places I worked for in Mississippi. You got to do all that stuff. You got to figure all that kind of stuff out. So my opinion, again, as I said, will be we should do fairly well if you're in vintage, certain clothing categories, certain high-end categories. High-end watches are hot right now. Gold and bullion, of course, obviously you can't sell it on eBay right now if you're in managed payments, which we're going to hammer on here as well. It is what it is. I hate to say that on eBay managed payments. We'll cut into there. I'll shout out a few more names in just a second here. But eBay's managed payments is what it is. Take it or leave it. If you leave it, you're giving up on reselling on eBay. That's basically the gist of it. Good, bad, and different. I'm not defending or standing on one side or the other. Those are just the facts on it. I don't know how else to put it plainly. We're going to hop in there in just a moment here. Let's shout out. We got Bob. Hey, Bob. Tomorrow, as I said, Patreon video will be up. Annie's in the house, too. Yeah, and I already got that. We got Kathy. Annie's been putting out a lot of videos. If you get a chance, you might want to check out some of Annie's videos, too. She's been going into a lot of detail and stuff. Sound woohoo, okay. Yeah, I don't know why it was off in the first place. Everything was just, it's got to be something with the YouTube when it actually logs into the live channel. 'Cause it's the only time. I'm looking at another laptop next to the one I'm broadcasting from, and it looks fine now. So in the first 15 minutes, 12 minutes, it's now corrected the video. I don't know if, now we pay for the premium or what's it, YouTube Red or whatever it is, where there's no commercials and stuff, and I don't see much difference in quality, but anyway. Steve Nowak, how are you doing? I got Wendy D right there, too. Good to have everybody in the house. Yeah, I'll talk about those too, Kathy, on like public domain. You know that I've done many postcards. My stuff's not in public domain, but I don't mind playing with public domain. I know, like, you know, all the Adobe and stuff, graphics programs too, so sometimes I'll just digitally make stuff even in the past. As long as it's something that would sell. I've got Christmas cards that are sitting here right now in house, and I've got Halloween, mark the night for Halloween. I don't know if it'll be that night, but it'll be the week of Halloween. I got something really good I'm giving away, and I'll have some other giveaways and some stuff going on. I will be dressed for sure, 100%, no matter what happens for Halloween. I've already got it situated in the whole works. It's not going to be a repeat, so I'm not going to be Gene Simmons again, just FYI. But that week, we're going to have something special going on. I'll probably see about having a guest or two or something on as well, possibly. It just depends. The guest I want may be very, very busy, but I can get him on, I think. I just don't know on the date. And if it's not the week of Halloween, I probably won't do it. But anyway, some surprises coming up soon. And Annie right here does a ton of stuff with in her Etsy store too. Again, we're going to show you literally in that video on Patreon stuff that's selling and stuff that I've done, same genres, categories, and things like that too. I did talk about some specifics because of some comments, so there's some things you got to watch out for, which we're going to hammer on that too in that video. It might be like a 30 and then a 20-minute video. I'm not really sure where it's going to fall. Quite yet. I try to jam it into one, and when I do that, I usually have an issue with an upload over 30 minutes on YouTube. Just FYI. Let's pop down Black Crystal Dice. Good evening. Eduardo, I just saw you sent a couple emails. I will probably get to emails for Patreons this evening, if nothing else, at least the emails. I average like 15 or 20 a day right now, so I try to hit them as soon as I can so nothing's sitting there longer than a day or two. Again, something happened this week. We were out of town looking at a building that we are trying to buy the contents. It's a really big building too, but if anybody's having any issues that you can't hear something at this point, probably these are old, but just reload your browser and you should be clear, good to go on that one. Unicorns don't lie. Question for you. My eBay lister was unable to access my account lately. What if we have another glitch going on? Now, I couldn't get into list from eBay the other day, and I do check eBay lately just for the amount of, I could do a montage. I've been doing snips of the screen left and right. I could do a montage of all the errors I got in 1 week by doing that in a video that was probably 5 minutes long. I don't know if I'm going to do that because I'm not just trying to call out eBay. I'm done with dealing with the BS. We're just worrying about our business in the most aspect of that. Every day there's a glitch if you're on eBay. If you go through InkFrog, though, I have not had a single, and I'm not trying to push InkFrog. I don't get a dime from talking about InkFrog. No connection with them or Shopify in any way, shape, or form, nor is InkFrog something that you can buy from me in the first place. But I've never had a single issue with InkFrog, ever. I'm like surprised. Whenever I turn on, pop an InkFrog, anything I want to do, I've been able to do. It's steady, it's stable, and I don't get that sorry, it's not you, it's us thing constantly on eBay. Again, I've been getting messages and posts and stuff constantly. Whenever somebody checks the comments and approved comments, they always do a tally on how many are having errors like that. So if you do have errors on stuff like that, please leave a comment in the video if you remember to, let me know. Even if I don't necessarily respond, we do keep track of those, and I kind of steer that to if I'm going to do a video on certain topics. There's a ton of errors going around where you got to reload. If you follow e-commerce bytes, they had an article, I think, the other day talking about there was an outage across the site. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday or something. Again, I just popped on the InkFrog the day that it was happening. As I did see, we couldn't do anything. I couldn't look at sales, past, present. I couldn't even get to, the whole top column of my hub was gone. And then the bottom two sections, anything that had total amounts on it was gone. It unable to show or whatever the error message was on those. So there are errors on that. Again, I use InkFrog pretty much exclusively now just because their API cuts off all that BS, basically. Going through like InkFrog, you fill out everything on InkFrog, and it bypasses that listing app that they use, the listing feature on there, and it goes straight, apparently, into the database from InkFrog. So it bypasses all that crap that's having the issues, from what I've seen. Again, that's a simplistic explanation, but that's the gist on what I see is going on. There's been a lot of those glitches constantly. One day we were going back and forth. I accepted a bunch of offers from people on InkFrog, and then I went in and did it on eBay, and eBay constantly had issues. So once you accepted it, you'll go back in. So if I was accepting offers from like 3 or 4 people at the same time, where it would be a multiple purchase from the same person, I couldn't hit send, an invoice and stuff. Usually at the end, when I get a whole bunch in from the same person, I use the very last one I accept, and then I'll click send invoice from there. So I don't ever have to wait for them to send a invoice request. It's always right there. Sometimes I'll even go and email them and tell them I've combined your orders. If you have any more, just let me know. I'll be happy to, whatever. It gets the conversation going, and sometimes they'll have a question or something, and in those type of questions you should always answer, especially if they bought something. So just FYI. Let's pop down here. Thrift and Flip, how you doing? Steve's, how you doing as well? Ken Ellis, how you doing? Yeah, now my feed's just bounced. Hang on, my feed just bounced, and now I gotta figure out where we're at. Oh boy, it's way down. Cheesy, how are you doing? I don't want to miss anybody. If I do, I do apologize. Sometimes these feeds around here, I live kind of out in the country. I do have the best internet access that you can get, but that doesn't help a whole lot. Hang on, I think I'm almost caught up. Working now. Hey, John Gray, how are you doing? Mr. Hot. I'm not sure what that is, but Hot Wheels, I'm sorry. Hey, Chuck. Oh, okay, I got you, Chuck. Billy Goat, how are you doing? Don, it's Don. We were just talking about that. Don and Dom, people seem to get mixed up. Unless I missed Dom in the house right now. He could be in here today, and I just missed him. Let's pop on down here. Central Cali, how are you doing? Chicken fried steak. We were pretty sure there were adjustments to the site for managed payments, etc. I had to abandon listing because eBay kept losing them with errors. Fixed now, huh? Yeah, it must just be your specific version of the site. Again, Kathy and Duncan are in Australia. Let me pop down. I just saw something else. Mr. Fine Items, any thoughts on the message I sent you about eBay? The only messages I literally get to see are the ones in Patreon. So if it wasn't through Patreon, I get a couple hundred a week, in all honesty, these days, either for questions or people trying to hit me up to advertise or something. I have no physical way to get to all those. My time is used in my personal business for the majority, so I do apologize if I don't get somebody's questions, but the only place I usually get a chance to is on a live show or in Patreon. And again, not trying to steer somebody to Patreon, but that's where my time goes. They do pay. It's a service, so I don't try and skimp on anything there. Anywhere my extra time goes, I try to put it there. Very rarely do I ever get a chance to go. If I went through my emails, I can't spend 4 or 5 hours a week trying to answer 200 emails. I can't do it. My time, I'd be throwing away time, and time is money and stuff. No offense to anybody, but it's a business for me here. Again, I'm not a social networker as opposed to a reseller. I'm a reseller like 95% and 5% a YouTuber. I'm not big on even like on Facebook or anything like that. I mean, I got them. I'm just not huge on it. Let's see. Here's one right here. Let's go into managed payments because I see some managed payments. eBay is saying that they are now giving full refunds and sending the buyer a label once they request it. They're not giving out full refunds until the item is delivered, and only if you don't respond after 48 business hours. So they're not just giving out a refund. If somebody opens up a return and you're a managed payment person, I've had one opened up and they haven't sent it back, so I'll wait, and on the 16th I'll close it if they haven't sent it back, and then it doesn't matter. But if they open up a return, the first thing that happens is they can't leave you bad feedback on that. So that's the first thing. Then from there, eBay's going to hold the money for that sale. Now, I know in the past, if you're PayPal, they don't do it for most of us. I haven't had it done in years. If you're just getting on PayPal and just starting this, chances are they're holding your money for a refund already anyway. So it's not much difference than, how it is on PayPal. The money isn't yours till that person's happy anyway. If you sell something today, it goes out tomorrow. You can't just go out and rush out and spend the money if you're starting off. You have to hold that money until they're happy. It's just the way it works. Even if there wasn't a return policy, at some point they could open up a claim with the charge card company and show that it's damaged or you did something wrong if you did, and then you're going to lose it anyway. So I'd never recommend spending the money until it's free and clear. When we first started, we set the money there. I never touched it. I was very worried that something would happen, and if we spend the money, then I can't refund the money, and then our account's done. If you can't refund somebody, you're screwed. Pardon my language, but that's just the end of it. Especially if you're new, they could shut your account down just like that. So always hold on to the funds and don't mess with them until it's free and clear. Don't bug them for feedback or anything, but after so many days, I usually assume 6, 7, whatever the case may be, or they leave feedback that everything's fine and I don't have to worry the money's mine, and off we go. I never consider it mine, though, until it's a done deal. I'm serious on that one. I've always been that way. Again, covering my business. I don't want any situation. If the first time I sold, let's just put it this way, the first time I sold like a $3,000 record to England, I sent it registered and all that stuff. I think it was like $16 in shipping, and whatever insurance I was able to get is what I used. And I was still worried as can be. This was sent directly through them, not through global shipping at that time, because I do ship to England £4 or less, Europe mostly, or less straight with first class international shipping. I waited till they played it and contacted and all that stuff, because I was already conversing with them before I mailed that out. Wanted to make sure. I even sent them a clip of it and all that kind of stuff too. And they were happy, and that's when I felt relieved, because now I got this big sale, our biggest sale at that point, I think, ever. And obviously it's not the case anymore, but I was relieved when the money was clear finally, because again, it's not yours until they're happy with it, you know. And that's how it works in big box, wherever you're selling stuff from. You can't, you know, there's buyer's protection and stuff like that. So, you know, I know people get screwed on eBay. We've been screwed, but for the most part, it works the way it should. The scammers are few and far between compared to the good people that buy on eBay, in my personal opinion. Again, I don't sell clothing anymore, but I never had those kind of issues like everybody else talks about in clothing. I went overboard. I took like 12 photos. If it was a t-shirt, I took 5, 6, 7 photos. And I always undersold it, so it sounded worse than it was. And I don't care if I lost a few bucks there. I never had returns. I figure it outweighs itself, I guess. I don't know. Take it as you will on that one. Yeah, I buy boat brochures. I've shown some even in my haul videos. Same thing with like airplanes, private, commercial, private in general sell very well. Any of that kind of stuff I do very well. Any of the brochures. In fact, I got videos just on brochures in general. Yeah, as I said, vintage seemed to be very hot. Wendy, Scooby-Doo stuff since the movie just came out. Yeah, it doesn't look like much of a movie compared to some of the other ones, but, you know, I'll give it a shot. Members only jacket. Yeah, I had a couple of those. From the last member. Hey, Steve Elmore, how are you doing this evening? Yeah, the live shows go, John Gray, the live shows go on, and they're processed and they're available. Watch anytime. I keep them all up on the page itself. I never delete them. Hey, Amazon Seller 99, how are you doing? Teresa as well, welcome. Gary Daytona, how are you doing? Good to see you in as well. Let me pop down here. Wendy D, this year will be different with longer ship times and higher shipping fees. The year that there will not be the typical Black Friday deals as years pass. There's going to be basically a Black Friday. In fact, they're going to be longer from what I see online. So they're still going to have them. They're going to have more of them. So instead of just having a fight in the stores. Now, I thought about this because I worked in retail on Black Friday. I've been in a store on a Black Friday that had a sale going on, and I know the havoc it wreaked on there. If this goes the way it looks like it could go for the way the retailers are doing it, all online Black Friday, it could alleviate some of that stuff on, you know, in the stores itself. You know, I know unfortunately it brings more business to Amazon because Amazon's planning on having like a whole long length of days of Black Friday sales. The sales on Amazon, like even last year, were about as good if you hit the pop-up ones and stuff, as about as good as you'd find in a store, honestly. And they were on your, if you have Prime, it ships directly on your Prime free day once a week, you know, and you know there's no big deal. You get it all at once. I know people hate on for Amazon, but unfortunately we do buy select things off of Amazon. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna, you know. I make money on Amazon still, even with the way they do things. Again, the way it's run is tied to the people in charge of the company. It's not bad people working there and stuff like that. I got a business to run and I've got a life to run, so certain things I can only get on platforms like that, unfortunately. Art supplies, things like that, even versus eBay, they're cheaper, even getting them on Amazon cheaper than buying them direct from like Pearl or something like that, Pearl Art Supplies or something. Anyway, if anybody knows who Pearl is, I used to go to the one in Orlando all the time. Love that store. We'll pop down, right? Let's pop down. Let's go into managed payments. Let's go right on down the line. Returns. Again, we started with the returns we just said a few minutes ago. Managed payment returns, when they open it up, you immediately have your funds held. Immediately. So whatever's sitting there, if it's waiting on payouts, it's held. I didn't read too far in to see what happens if you don't have money there, but I'm assuming that there's going to be a hold, so the minute money shows up, it's going to fill in whatever is left to put enough hold so that they can pay that person back out of your funds that are pending payment out. I honestly recommend everybody who can afford to just switch over to weekly payouts on managed payments, because then any fees or anything else you got to do will come directly out of there, and you never have to worry about other money being pulled from a backup source or, from PayPal. Now, again, I don't usually have issues with PayPal. I do have one major one that just turned up the other day, which I got a video coming out on, but I usually trust the way PayPal does stuff, so I don't worry about it too much. Just keep in mind, though, the hold times and stuff on the returns. Again, you have 48 hours from the minute it gets back in your possession. So if it arrives at your house on Monday morning, you have 48 hours from that point to give them the refund or do something else with the case. Now, if it's not as described or they sent it back and it was a different item or something, you're going to have to contact eBay. Now, I've been seeing a lot of comments that when they're doing under managed payments, eBay is automatically closing the case in the buyer's behalf in just a matter of minutes from the time it goes up. If it's past the deadline, they're going to do that for sure, I can tell you right now. If you waited 49 hours, eBay can close it down from the minute it's marked as delivered. eBay is fully and 100% pretty much integrated with tracking from the U.S. Postal Service and UPS almost at this point too. So when something's marked as delivered, it instantly shows up on there. When those cases close like that, it doesn't mean that a eBay rep looked at anything. It's probably done electronically, just like Amazon has a lot of those done on there too. If you apply or try to get ungated for something, or you send in invoices for wholesale deals so you can be unlocked, the last invoice we sent in, it was 5 minutes later, maybe not even that long. We already got a notice. It's already ready to go because we purchased from specific vendor and all that stuff. They got a list of that. eBay, I'm sure, has something similar that's been in the works for a very long time. If you look at those notices, the time frame, sometimes there's no way they could even physically have time to get in touch with somebody and have it solved in the first place. So take consideration. If something's closed in the half of the buyer's side, it doesn't mean that they even talk to somebody. It's just an automated process when certain things, certain criteria happen. It was like that before managed payments, if you didn't know that. Now it just holds the money, so it's a different story, but it's the same process. The only thing that I can see totally that has changed from managed payments, from how it used to be to managed payments, how it is now, is the payments. That's it. It doesn't affect any other aspect on the site. I don't see any issues where it affects sales, where it affects visibility, where it affects your store ratings or anything like that. I can't find any other things other than it's just a payment process, as they've said. Again, everybody should know I'm not a huge fan of those running eBay, and I think they pander nowadays to us just to try and make them look better. That's my opinion. You can take it how you want. That's, again, opinionated on that. But I see through the corporate and the PR stuff. I used to handle that for a region, for a national company that my region made over 11 million. So I'm not talking small potato stuff. It all was okay through marketing and PR people. Everything we did, whether I wrote it or not, everything had to be approved. Everything. If I spoke on the radio or did a TV thing or commercials, everything was written out ahead of time, and then it was all approved. That's for a smaller position than the people speaking for eBay. So those speaking from eBay, again, PR people. But I can't honestly fault any of the issues that I see with managed payments. And I know I'll probably take some hate. There's probably going to be a bunch of people leaving some nasty comments and thumbs down. May be the case, but unfortunately, I've tried hard to nitpick and pull apart managed payments. What's the drawbacks? What's the difference? I don't have very many for me. There are some that can affect those that are new, but again, if you're talking about them holding funds for a return, you should hold the money anyway. So whether they hold it or you hold it, there's not much of a difference. I can't see them making any huge difference because they're holding the money themselves. They're not collecting interest from spending that technically somewhere else. It's not like they're putting that money in a bank the way it looks. It looks like they're physically holding it. Who would pay interest? eBay would pay themselves interest. So I don't see them benefiting from doing it. The benefit from eBay doing managed payments is the fact that they're getting a higher percentage of the final value of the listing. They're taking the processing fee as well as final value fee, 12.9, 13, whatever you want to call it at this time, depending on the category we're selling in. That's the only difference that I honestly, sincerely feel is there. Again, I don't see it hurts anybody. If anything, as I said, I still feel that I'm getting a few more sales across the board from people who normally wouldn't buy from me because they just signed up. And I've talked to some people who had 0, 1 feedback, 2 feedbacks, and things like that. Sent them a welcome letter. Let's just put it that way. So you can converse and welcome people just to see what's going on and ask some questions. It's perfectly fine to do that. I can't see eBay having any issues with you reaching out and giving your customers a welcome. So, again, I really wanted to say, hey, there was some really bad news. For some folks, they're not going to like the holding the money on the returns. I'm not really happy about it, but it doesn't bother me enough for it to stick in my head because I got all my business still going. Whether they hold the money or not, I don't need it. I don't care. I can't spend it till the deal's done anyway, so I don't care where it sits. When we get paid from PayPal or whatever, money comes in from other platforms into my PayPal account still. That's where I pay my shipping from still. So I just keep it there. It's not a concern where the money sits. Don't be so much concerned on where it sits if you've got to hold the money anyway. If you spend it, what's going to happen? If you're in this for the long run, just play it by the game, I guess I could say. You can't go out and if you're playing baseball or something and expect the rules to be a certain way, and you don't like the rules, so they shouldn't do it that way. It does. I mean, I wish again there was some other way to get at this, but that's the best I can say. Yeah, so it's hard to say for sure, but I'm not worried for this season, honestly. The sales right now, if my sales are like this right now, and again, I'm up from last year in all my areas that are important to me. If they're up now, still right now, more people spend during winter no matter what. So if they're up now for me, they're going to be up then for me, in my opinion. And even if the typical buyer crashes, the people, again, that buy the stuff that we sell have expendable income. And I don't mind waiting if somebody has to pay me at the end of the month or 2 weeks or whatever. I do that all the time. I let somebody float for 17 days because of their feedback. And sure enough, the day they said on the 30th they paid, I have no problems. I haven't opened up an unpaid item case in maybe 2 months. Somewhere in that range, And then if I do, I open it up, block them once they don't pay, and then I'm done. I don't even think about it anymore, Too many people let a lot of this bother them. If you haven't been run your business or something on your own before, you've got to break that personal and business aspect. Because, again, anybody can make money right now, in my honest opinion, on eBay. It's there. The options are there. I'm still very happy with what's going on. I can't complain at all. And, this has been the longest stretch that I can say that we've had, a good run. And I've been able to avoid any of the BS from eBay lately. I do see some strong changes, at least in them, since the federal charges, the strong changes in trying to have a better public face. Again, that they have to now. So, again, I still tie how they're acting now to PR trying to save. This stuff's going to hit the news again. You got to realize that it's not done. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 more major drops in the news. When this stuff goes to the end and the trials there or wherever it hits, there's going to be some bombshells from the stuff that was laid out in evidence. It'll be in public view completely after that point. Maybe even some transcripts from there. So they're saving face. I hope they save the site. I hope it gets better. I have no ill harm to wanting to lose that because, again, we make a good chunk of change from eBay. The site is good, just the management hasn't been good for quite some time. I have no real faith, personal opinion, in the guy running it now. They've got to do what they got to do. That's what I'll say. Yeah, Cyber Monday I'm thinking as well, too. I don't do any of those kind of things anymore. Just because if, let's say I'm buying wholesale and I want to, push my products out on there, maybe I'll sell more, but I'll make a lot less money because I'm competing with other people who are on Cyber Day markdowns as well, too. So I don't do those days. But anyway, let's hop back over it. Let's go back into the holds and stuff. Now, payouts. Again, I touched on that. If you want your bills and your postage to go out through your payments, set it to a week payout, and then every time you want to, buy something or do something for your mail going out, you'll just use the funds that you already have. So you don't have to touch anything that you've already pulled out from the site. That would be my personal recommendation if, you want to keep it that way. I haven't had many issues with anything on managed payments. Payouts, though. Let's say you sign up and managed payment starts today. It could be for the first payment, even a week or so. It could be for the first one to come out, from what I see, depending on business days and weekends. Let's say you get managed payments on a Friday. It could conceivably be like next Wednesday or possibly even Thursday, even on a daily payout, that you may see the first one. But once the first one comes in, from that point on, every day you'll have a payout. You won't miss one after that. It's just like when you work for somebody. Your first paycheck might be 2 or 3 weeks from the time of your first hire. It just depends on when you started. It could even be a little over 3 weeks, depending on the pay cycle from your business. Consider that the same basic principle as managed payments. Again, Etsy's the same way. If you sell on Etsy, you're dealing with it right now anyway. Same thing with Amazon. Amazon holds the money. They don't just pay you out every day. Now, I can get paid out anytime I want. I'm like on the old school program, I guess you'd call it, where I can just request I guess it's a withdrawal or something. But, so if you're new to Amazon, you're doing the same principle as well, too. Amazon's sitting there with your money as well. It's the same principle. It's the model. eBay changed the model of how it works because it works for everybody else the way that they're doing it now. I don't see that necessarily as a negative, but it is a money grab, obviously. It's a necessity, I would say, for most companies. I would do something similar if it meant that I wouldn't have any of the other issues and it's all under my control. It would be like you running your own business, but yet somebody else comes in and mails your products and you got to deal with them. PayPal was that other person coming in. They were just doing the money aspect. I can understand the philosophy. Again, I'm not trying to defend eBay or the action. It's a justifiable move. Again, I change up anytime I can if it fixes it. So the payouts, though, are very, very religiously paid out when they say they are. Every week on a certain day, I get the weekly payout. Every day before that, when I was first into managed payments, every single day it was going on. Again, once the first one showed up. So those are your own choices. I can't tell you which is the best choice. I can recommend that the best choice, in my opinion, would be to do the once a week. Again, you have a bank account on there, so those are backup funds. So if something does go haywire, you don't have funds in there, it's going to pull from your bank account, just like PayPal did. If your PayPal account hit zero and you needed to pay something, it would automatically pull the funds from your tied-in bank account, which that's how it works on PayPal. That's how it works on eBay now. So it's the same principle. Again, I don't see much difference between the two. Holding money, not holding money. If you're starting off new, they're probably holding money no matter where you go these days. Again, I don't like that they hold the money just because I like to have a little more control, and I don't mind refunding somebody, and I have never had any case where we didn't handle something properly in years on eBay. So, I get a little frustration, but again, it's not enough it's not affecting my business. It doesn't affect my sales. It has no bearing on me as a person. It's only a broad company-wide setup on that, too. I mean, that's the gist on that. There isn't a lot of difference. I just can't find much wrong with it. So all the complaints that I've heard, yeah, it's a money grab. Again, I'm not going to deny that that's what it is, but it's not a big difference. I've had people tell me buyers can't do this, buyers can't do that. I still haven't seen, and we buy stuff all the time, collectibles and stuff on eBay, and I still haven't had a single issue with a purchase or with a sale. I don't have those issues. If somebody can physically show me a screenshot, I'll be happy to discuss it in a video. You'll have to leave a message down there, or I guess I'll try and you put something in the title. Let me think what we can put in the title so somebody can pull this. I don't read most of my emails, as I said. Employees here will possibly go through them at some point. Maybe put in a keyword, managed payment error, and that's it in the title of the email if you're going to send one. And I'll try and go through. And if you send a screenshot, maybe I can send those over and have them filtered through my safety program and make sure that they're clear before I do anything with them. Don't like to do that too much, but if there are a lot of errors, I'd be happy to show them out and discuss them and maybe call some attention to them. But I haven't seen one in person, and nobody I know has provided me with one or shown me one. Again, I talked to a lot of people, and no one's shown me anything to verify that at all. Again, I'll be happy to discuss it. I'll be happy to show them out if it's a verifiable, the image is a real one, it's clear, and it is what's going on. I want to have anything fixed that we can fix, because it's not just me that has to deal with it, obviously. I may be selling more than many people, but we're all in the same boat. We're all on the same platform. It should be one for all for one. It should all be the same across the board. I mean, what else in managed payments is there that can affect your store, is my take on it. Again, I really expected to find some major issues with it. Issues with it itself. We're talking about functionality. Now let's broaden over to the other aspects of it, which aren't related on functionality, but rather related to what you can and can't do, like things you can't sell on the site. Now, if you're on managed payments, no coins, no tokens, nothing in the money section whatsoever anymore. I can't even list the manual in that category anymore. Again, that's an issue for me. That is a major issue for me. Adult material, you can't list any of that. I do a lot of pinup style 1950s and 60s magazines. That's mostly what I do, even into the 70s, not much past that. And I don't have a problem with selling something legal. Just because one person doesn't like something doesn't mean everybody else should be banned from selling it. Some people don't like selling coins. Some people think a Rolex watch or some high-end Cartier item is obscene because of how much money that could have been used for something else. If it's legal to sell, be my guest. Do whatever they want to do with it. If somebody wants to buy a $10 million ring, or I just heard of some player that bought like a $250,000 massive gold necklace thing. If that's what they want, let them have it. Who cares? It's their money. They did whatever to get it. It's all legal. I don't care. It's none of my business what somebody else does with their stuff. That's just how I see it. I don't, they're not hurting anybody. No one can force you to donate or help or do something else. We try to do what we can, of course, but, I think we should be able to sell the legal items on there. Now, for those who don't know, managed payments has been around for over a year now. They've had over a year to fix these issues. My honest opinion, the way it's going, the way fourth quarter's right here, they don't have a fix for it. And I honestly am getting to feel with some Reddits that I read that maybe this is true. Again, I've said this about a month ago, that there's some Reddits going around that eBay doesn't care to have these categories back on there. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Again, the last Reddit that I blew off said the entire attack on the bloggers that eBay's execs did. It played out the whole thing last year in October when it happened. So again, I have to hold some water in some of these blogs. Maybe eBay just doesn't care about losing that, because the amount of money that they are making from managed payments well outweighs all those other things. I have people tell me, the gold market and coin market might be $1 billion, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what the selling market is. eBay doesn't get all that money. They only get a percentage of it. So if they're only getting, say, $5 million, but managed payments get some $12 million, I would probably take managed payments to get the $12 million versus the 5 by keeping it. Again, this does tie to Aiden and all the rulings and stuff, and Apple Pay plays into this, and all the Pay apps and what you can and can't sell. PayPal was different, and again, I like PayPal. I do have a major issue from just the other day with them, but overall, PayPal hasn't messed me up as bad as they just did the other day. Anyway, we won't get into that today. We're really going to stick on here. I really feel like they're just maybe not even worried about fixing this, and I've looked into what they could use. I don't know what eBay could use without writing some huge code, and I don't know if eBay is up to writing the code that could effectively switch and force and get the notices built in and stuff like that. I found something in on an eBay page that I'll probably have to go into in a video as soon as I get some confirmation from a few other people. And that scares me to think that they have some lapses in their coding abilities. Again, the API that InkFrog wrote doesn't have any of those issues that eBay's own platform has. has none of those issues. So, again, I don't get paid from InkFrog. I'm not trying to promote InkFrog in that aspect of it, but there's no issues with it in that way. So it's troublesome. When we went into managed payments, we lost all of our coins, all of the tokens, all of that kind of stuff, all of our adult magazines. Mind you, some of them went back to the 40s and 50s. Were all instantly taken off. Between that and the other change in the policies, we've probably overall lost like 400, 500 listings that we can't list at all. Now, I can live with that. I'm not worried. We've got other avenues these days to sell that stuff. But let me give you two true 100%, I believe these to be 100% legit. These are from people that I've talked to for a while. First buyer. This is a buyer that probably a few people out there probably may know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to give out any names. Somebody who buys coins a lot. They mess a lot in coins. And they signed up for... I'll get on. I see Carl's got one up there too. I don't want to miss anybody, but I will pop back to questions in just a minute here. But they buy coins and tokens, and there was no announcement on the banned categories. They bought $12,000. Now, somebody might know because somebody was talking about this purchase, but they bought 12, and I asked them if I could talk about it as long as I don't mention names. So, again, I'm not giving information out that I wasn't okay to give out. They spent $12,000 before the announcement, and then they tried to rush to sell that out. They're stuck with almost $10,000 worth of coins that they don't know what to do with, in inventory that's holding them down right now. They expected to sell so much on a week-by-week basis, and after they got in managed payments was basically when they found out that they couldn't do it. They threw a big stink. It wasn't a high enough percentage of their business for them to have it fixed or to go back in. eBay wouldn't fix it because you have to get exemptions from exemption department. So now they're holding $10,000 worth of merchandise that they can't move. They can't, unless they blow it out for less than they paid for it at this point, because eBay was the market for it. Now, yeah, there's some other places and stuff. You can sell some on eBay or on Amazon, but they got to be graded and all this other stuff to sell on there. And it's a hassle, and there's some major issues if you haven't done that before. I've looked into it and stuff. It's upsetting because, again, it's somebody that we do know, and they're not dire, but it's hurting their business fairly well right now of this thing going on like this. Now, another example here, and again, these are real things. Somebody else that I know, and I buy stuff from this person as well too occasionally when they have more than enough and stuff, or we go in on a deal together or something like that. They bought, I want to say, like 25,000 vintage adult style magazines, starting earlier ones than I usually get. Some really nice stuff, mind you, 1930s all the way up into the 70s and 80s again. They're in the same genre as I do, certain mellower types of magazines, I guess you would say. And again, they're stuck with them. They got a lot of money invested into this. The minute eBay knew that it would hurt somebody or that you couldn't sell something, that should have been the very first thing they put out. They knew it the minute they signed they knew it before they signed the contract. Don't tell me that Aiden came up at the last minute, even though Aiden's been doing business like this, and said, well, you're not going to be able to sell these type of things through our payment processing, to be part of it. So they knew this from the start is my problem, and they didn't publicly announce it at all. Again, it wasn't open. There was no transparency. They don't have to. They're a private company. It's not like it's the government and they're supposed to be transparent. But the point of it is, I know two people who are stuck with thousands of dollars worth of merchandise that they expected to sell. And they are trusting, and they're not trusting them very much these days, but we're trusting eBay to bring those items back on. Again, some of these people have been on for 6 months or better and still nothing. And Managed Payments has been there since last year. So we're over a year now into it, and it's not been addressed. There's no announcements. It's pretty much not talked about it at all on eBay. I haven't found anything on any of the community boards on eBay. It's all over on Reddit and stuff, but it's almost like they're intentionally just not talking about it. Out of sight, out of mind. They'll forget about it, and we won't have to do anything is what I'm worried it is. I'll be happy to find out that that's not the case, and I'll be happy to announce that, yeah, they did find out something. But again, why would it take a year and a half if they had some plan this whole time? So that's the biggest drawbacks, is what you can or can't sell in the category. And it hit us, with 500 listings basically, and not counting thousands of items that I have in-house that I can't list. I've got a real nice colonial coin here, real nice continental coin that I wanted to do something with, and I'm going to end up probably just sending it into Heritage or something and let them deal with it, just because at this point it's just going to have me go somewhere else. And if I'm going somewhere else and I'm doing well there, I'm not going to bring it back to eBay. It just doesn't make any sense not to have it all figured out. If I'm going to do a move like that, I want all my ducks in a row, the best I can humanly possibly do, or I'm not going to try and make that move, you know? Just my take on it. I got some questions. Let's pop up here just a little bit more. I got time, so we're going to go through some of these. If I miss somebody, I can only go back so far. Amazon seller 99. Yeah, eBay is giving out coupons based on the time you're in the company, I think. Yeah, they got everything. Now, PayPal is the same way, mind you. If you I'll wait. I got a video coming about that. I won't shoot it out here today. Hustle and grind Calgary. A month into managed payments and not one issue. It's not much different than PayPal. People who have issues are just complaining to complain. That may be the case. Again, there may be some issues, though. I personally haven't seen one. Not only haven't I seen one, the issues that I had before with, like, I wouldn't allow me to do a label here or do this or do that, I haven't had those issues. Oh, wait a minute. There is an issue I had with managed payments the other day, but I don't know if it's technically managed payments or it's how they structured the database itself. I had some items that I combined. I had two purchases. Again, managed payments. This is directly into managed payments. I had two purchases one day, like early in the day. It was after my ship out time at 11. It was like maybe 12:30. And then that evening, they came back and did two more purchases. So I had 4 from the same person in two different payments. So when I go to print out the labels, I do the combine, and it had some issue with the address, and it wouldn't give me a total. And when I finally fixed the weight, as soon as I fixed the weight, then it changed, and again banned me from figuring out a total on the shipping. And I had to undo it, undo this, undo that, and eventually all I did was I deleted the top 2 and shipped with the bottom 2 as one shipment, and then just added the tracking number into the other 2, and problem went away. It didn't do any. It was just a easy fix. Just cut and paste, and boom, off you go. It added in 30 seconds in if I would have just did that from the start. So that's the only thing that I can say. And I can't say that hasn't happened prior to managed payments. I don't usually keep that in my thoughts because it doesn't. It's just a daily activity. Something might happen any day. The phone might fall off the shelf, and I have to figure out why it won't come back. Just stupid stuff happens. So I don't let that dwell in my thoughts. My thoughts are always thinking about, this year, next year, and business in general. Let me pop down here. Hey, Midwest Picker, how are you doing? Yeah, I've watched a couple of his videos in the past, too. Midwest Picker does a very good job. Amazon seller 99. Yeah, I did see that too with their information on what they do. Now, if you've got multiple stores, you only see that one store, and they're not going to give you total for the whole time you've been on. Girl Hustler. On the phone apps, I don't use a phone app unless it's like I'm out on the road. I'm not a big fan of the phone apps. I was able to answer one today when I was out dropping off one of the kids, so I haven't seen any issues on the phone app, but I don't do much with the phone apps. If I do anything, I'm just usually checking comps when I'm out, and I haven't done that in months. I don't have to lately. I did go to a haul the other day, and records are hot. I did pick up some more records. I got like $1,000 worth of records for $27. So there might be more. I didn't even look through the 78s yet. I got a stack of 78s that I hand cherry-picked like that, too. Probably, what would that be, like 60 or so, maybe. I love the 78s. I'm into the 78s lately. I've been playing a lot of them, too. I like the music. Yeah, I'm registered for that online eBay's, whatever it is, the 25th thing. I don't know if I want to put a photo up and do all the junk with it. I may not even take part in it, even though I'm registered and all that stuff. I don't like to blow time on stuff that's not going to get me a return. Friends and stuff is different. I'm talking about business-wise. That's why I would never go to an eBay Open or anything like that, because I don't care about partying. I don't care about, leaving the kids at home or, having to worry about stuff like that. And plus, with airline tickets and rental car, and I'd want to have fun if I was there. I figured I'm not going to blow $4,000 on something. I'd rather blow that going somewhere with the family where I don't have to worry about anything. I can just turn off my eBay brain for a couple days. I was a regional for a while, and the company I worked for always wanted to send you to Destin, and they'd get you a condo and stuff. You'd have to share with a couple of other managers and regionals and stuff. I hated doing that. I never cared for that. I don't care. We went deep sea fishing and stuff, and I'm like, I like fishing and all. Don't get me wrong. I love fishing, but I'd rather just do it with my family. I don't think that's it's not a team building thing for me, because I'm going to do everything in my power for whoever I'm working for, because I get more money out of it. I don't really care about the PR BS stuff. I'm not a PR person. I'm not a big person on if some person wore a certain shirt, I need to buy that shirt. I don't care about any of that stuff. It doesn't matter. Anyway, not to rant. Let's see here. I don't want to miss anybody. If I did, just pop your comments back in there. The Bee's Knees Treasures, how are you doing? Well, hopefully that's a good thing, Bee's Knees. Hopefully that is a good thing. Yeah, Annie, I've been up into a few of those Massachusetts auctions when we were going back and forth up there. I know some of the auctions up there are massive. That was always a good area when we were up there. We ended up having to send boxes home. Wouldn't fit in our luggage. Paula Hoffner. Weebles, yeah, we've got the Weebles video out. We're going to do them no matter what. I like doing those kind of videos, too. It's relaxing, and I get to do stuff with the wife that, we both have fun. And I got a bunch of outtakes from the last two. I'll probably pop in Patreon as well. I love doing the technical aspect of it. I'm an IT guy, so I like to try and figure out how to do stuff. And if you haven't seen the Weebles video, it's on my main page right now. You'll get to see some stuff you probably won't see anywhere else. We've got some rare Weebles in there that weren't released in this country. I've got box versions. I know my wife doesn't have the world's largest collection of Weebles. She might be in the top, say, 20. I don't know. I know we're fairly far up there with how many we have and stuff. I know 700 Weebles or so. We've been thinking about putting a guide together even maybe, but I've got so much stuff going on. I'm still trying to acquire label images for my 78 record buyer's guide. And I picked up some more myself, so I have some more to put in there from the records I just bought. If I see a record label I need, I'm buying them now, no matter what. So maybe at the end of the day when the book is done, I'll have them all in possession possibly too. Even if they're not sellable, the version I have, I'm at least going to be able to show all the label styles and stuff. But anyway. And Paula bought a Weeble there. Yeah, she only loves the vintage ones as well. Kathy, Xmas sales will be much earlier than last year to allow for shipping delays, I think. It will be all over by first week in November. We always buy our stuff early, so some people do and some people don't. I think a lot of the people who don't normally buy or deal like we do may not see all the errors or the delays. They might see the news. Some people won't buy it as the correct way or anything like that. It doesn't, whatever the case may be, I think it's going to be the same as it was personally, only because a lot of people just don't get the delay aspect of it. For the most part, certain stuff, bigger items seem to be coming much quicker than smaller items right now. I had several items sent from the same place, somebody I've dealt with for years and years and years and years. And the big items, the big packages, especially the priority boxes, show up on time. It's the little first class ones and stuff that don't seem to show up on time. Media is going very well too, because again, the bigger the item is, the quicker it seems to show up. And this is from me sending out quantity and me getting a certain items quantity too. A lot of supplies. I do buy wholesale and stuff like that too. So just in general, it depends on what you're getting, my guess is. Now, we're done in October usually with everything we buy. Arania, same thing. Yeah, I have had problems with regular mail being late, not packages. Now, I have had a couple packages go astray. I got one right now that went astray. Raphael, how are you doing this evening? Is Pearl still around? The one in Boston closed. There was one in Orlando when I lived in Orlando, Annie. I don't know if it's still open at all, but I do remember fondly going into that store because I could just drool over some of the stuff they had in there. I love that sort of thing personally. Hang on, my feed's done its little thing again here. There we go. It's actually running pretty good right now, I see. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. I don't know what YouTube's done, but I can't even see how many likes are on the video at all for some reason. It doesn't show any total like numbers, so I don't know what it's at right now at all. But we've got almost 200 people in the house. So if you're enjoying the conversation, please hit the like button here. Hang on, I just see, don't want to miss anything. Hang on, almost back down to where I was. Let's see here. Hello from Detroit, Digathus. How are you doing? I got Marty in the house too. How are you doing, Marty? Again, I'm not trying to miss anybody. Good living. So if I do, how much do your leather jackets sell for on average? Depends on the leather jacket. I only buy certain leather jackets. I do really well or have with Wilson. Most of the Wilson ones I can sell very well. High-end ones, vintage ones always sell for us. If it's my size, though, and I like the jacket, I keep it. I got like 60 leather jackets that I own. It's my weebles, I guess you could say. I do love leather. I grew up with the headbanger and stuff like that, too. And I got a jacket from that era. I've got one from all the way back to the 40s. I've got multiples from the 60s, rawhide. Some of them are made out of horsehide, which I'm not a big fan of. But the jacket style and the cuts are what I like. I've got a Fight Club jacket. I can't go without that. Hang on, I'm bouncing around today. I'm trying to get to some questions here. Why can I no longer see the total number of likes? I can't either. I have no idea why they're doing that. If that's like a permanent change or anything. I saw no announcements on it, and usually I try to watch all the YouTube announcement page things that they have out there. I see Eduardo. Wait, hang on a second. Charles Lowe. I don't want to mix anybody out of order. Why can I got that one? Picked up a couple 1923 menus advertising a Christmas party. That should do very well. Stuff like that, Charles, I probably put $34.50 to $57.50 on. I think if I remember, Eduardo, I've seen quite a few emails today. I think it was about... Give me a second, I got a tip of my tongue. I think you had some items were claimed by someone else, and you have permission to sell those items, if I'm not mistaken. I would look at the title, the wording used, rather than the items itself, because if you put a certain word in there, that word may be trademarked or copyrighted, kind of like the Velcro ruling or the onesie ruling. That was the last, somebody sent me something that just related similar to that. The last one was the title, the wording that they used. You may be allowed to sell something, but the title is usually what gets you in trouble for selling it. The item may not be pulled down in some cases because of the item itself, but merely because you're using a word that shouldn't be in the title. Let's say you have an item that looks really similar to a major brand name, and you decide to put that major brand name in there trying to market your item because it's made to look like that brand. That would be against the rules and would be a copyright. It could be a Vero thing as well, too. Just like using the word Velcro. If you use the word Velcro in a non-Velcro item, you are using their trademarked name to try and sell your item, which isn't their item. It's not the same thing. And that's what I see running into it. That might be my best recommendation, Eduardo. And I would also say I would instantly email eBay if you don't have phone support. Phone support, Anchor Store and above, you can call directly still right this very second. Well, they might be closed now, but and you can get phone support. And I would express that if you have a letter or a contract, that should be enough to get those items reinstated. Again, they don't have the same process as Amazon. I will bet you $1 million at one point they will have something similar to that, where you can just have it scanned in. It would be my personal opinion. Yeah, oops, those kind of errors. Those would be my steps, though, Eduardo. I would literally email them straight out and say you have permission to sell it. I can pretty much guess what type of item that you were referring to. I have watched your store. We have looked at your store, of course. You know that, so Duncan's talking about, yeah, a lot of error pages on there. But again, that necessarily doesn't have anything to do with managed payments. Even if eBay had to switch some activities to managed payments, it doesn't mean that those errors are from managed payments, because I had them just as much before managed payments. It's more a infrastructure, not necessarily like equipment infrastructure, but the bones, the network, the mainframe, and not mainframe as in computer mainframe, but the main site information and coding itself is what they're changing, trying to update it. Like YouTube's doing it for the same basic reason. Some of the stuff they've been running has been running on the site for 10 plus years. You can't add certain features. It's like having a laptop, and after a while you can't upgrade it to the modern, you can only put 64 gigabytes of RAM or something in it. The hard drive may only let you put a terabyte in unless you update the whole motherboard. It's the same basic principle. You have to change stuff up. I just talked about change. They've got to change some stuff up. I don't mind infrastructure changes that mean coding changes, as long as it's a justifiable change and you're not just doing it to screw things up. I think maybe some of the issues in the past were related to it. They're still, in my opinion, from what I see, they're using two different systems now, or two different architectures, I would say. The new one, which is running everything going forward, and they're still integrating old ones, as time goes by. That's why you're seeing, and I can pretty much tell you this is happening, because that's why they're rolling out new item specifics that are required. They're doing them in stages. So as that's the second the new item specific comes out, I would say they're using the new architecture going forward in those categories. Again, that's the changes required and blah, blah, blah. They've changed the structure of those listings. So that's why it's going that way. Let me pop down here. Let me think. Where are we at? Catlow, how are you doing from Idaho? Record Crate, how are you doing? I was going to put a record video together the other day, and I just never had a chance. I do love records. In the other side of me, back in the back room, there must be 4,000 records sitting on the floor. We're trying to clear out some. I am going to be selling some in bulk to some Patreons soon. We're just making sure and discarding anything that's not. I'm not looking them up. I'm just discarding anyone that's the disc isn't VG minus or better. Do you guys already read the new eBay partnership with UPS being end of September? I talked about them going with UPS like last year at some point. There was some snippets released, so we kind of they were trying to work out where UPS, from what I read, this again comes from last year, they were trying to work out where they would be like the FBA version. They would store them at UPS facilities and then ship out that way or something like that. That was the initial articles that I was reading on some Reddit posts. So I expected something like that to come out. Now, in a way, though, it's bad for some aspect of it because it's going to further hurt the post office. And for certain items, the UPS just isn't feasible to compare price-wise. I haven't looked at the new pricing structure. If it really is 65%, it's cheaper than my personal private account with volume, if it is the case. Again, I haven't seen any totals. The message that they quoted on UPS didn't list any totals that I could see, nor did the email that I received, and I actually took a screenshot just in case I wanted to talk about that, but nothing in there gave any specifics, which was, they never give us anything until the last second, and then sometimes it's not good, but... Now, Marty, you talking about it would help a lot with missing late deliveries. Most of the time lately, when an UPS package is coming, it's delivered by the post office. We got sheets from my son's bed the other day. They came in through the post office. I got a huge refractory cement from my son's kiln the other day, too. It came in from the post office. It was shipped from UPS, and then the UPS drops it off at the post office. So it may not speed things up. That's the problem here. And I thought about that, too. That's been happening a lot. A lot of the end delivery line is done through the post office. I don't know what deal they have. I have no clue on that. So in a way it may, if it's going straight to your house, but if the post office is the end result, you may have issues with it. So that's my concern. Thanks, Bee's Knees. Milk Cap, how are you doing? Hey, Gail Makar, how are you doing this evening? Just registered. Yeah, again, I don't have that much bad, other than the categories that we can't list in. That's literally my biggest complaint at this point, is that specifics, especially not being told. And some people, again, they already signed up and there was nothing they could do to get back out. The only exemptions eBay was doing is if it's the majority of your business, a big majority of your business was in the categories that they're not allowing in managed payments. Again, maybe they are working for it. Maybe they are. I don't know, but I have nothing, not a single scrap, a word, a bleep, or anything that says they're doing a single thing. It's like they totally dropped off the face of the earth on the black categories. I know somebody sent me in Patreon a email that I hadn't seen, but that they were talking about that they were working on it. I don't know who sent that. They're not. It doesn't say any upper management. It could just be somebody saying, yeah, they're working on it. We don't know. There could be some company document just saying, if somebody asks, they're dearly or strongly working on it or something. It could just be a PR BS statement. I don't know. I'm not going to trust that that's not the case. Let me side turn. Hang on, let's pop down here. Yeah, my feed's backed up again here. I'm sorry. Again, we do have a Weebles video out. If you haven't seen it, it goes into all the ghosts. You'll see some foreign ones, other countries, and things like that, too. So for those in England, you might see some that you would recognize that could have been bought in Europe as well, too. Let me pop down. Lashia, how are you doing this evening? Good to have you in. Hang on here. Just say it. You're holding your punches on PayPal. Yeah, I am. I've got one specific issue with PayPal. I'm still printing off my shipping labels with PayPal funds. Are they charging me a fee for that, though? I'm in managed payments for the transactions. It's still going technically through eBay, so, you know, it's still going that way, so. Nevermore Sales, how are you doing this evening? Let's see here. Gary Daytona. Pending payouts. Yeah, that's what I said. Do it. Set it up as a week would be my personal opinion. If you're going to pay your shipments straight from there. Now, if you want to just do your managed payments shipments all through your funds, pending funds, at the end of the month, all you're going to pay is your store fee, and everything else is coming out of one account. So you have one single tracking area. I don't care if I track from eBay, PayPal, or where, because I got to track them all separately anyway. I got payments from other sites that show up in PayPal, whether eBay's there or not. So I still have to mess with it. So I don't really care. That's why we're still printing from PayPal in some cases. And same thing with Amazon. I got to print up separate sheets for that and everything else. Who cares? That's what I look at it as. If I got to do it anyway, I'll just still use PayPal all I want. Kernach's connection managed payments have been smooth. No issues here. Is managed payments assessing a state tax fee to sellers as it is not listed on the transaction breakdown? Yes, I do believe that is the case from what I read as well. They're still doing everything they did before. So if eBay was doing collection of taxes before, they're still doing collection of taxes. There's no reason for you to even handle the tax money, honestly, if eBay is going to pay it out. Now, they need to supply... Well, it depends on your state. Now, I haven't... This session, I didn't have to do any of the quarterlies or anything like that for sales tax because it was all picked up now by all the platforms that we're on. I don't have any sales tax that I collect myself. Any of the sales I've done privately have been to another seller, and I've collected a tax ID number every time. So I haven't had to report any sales tax through anywhere else other than what the site's reporting, which, again, I'm happy with them taking a little fee, so I don't have to sit there and mess and deal with that. Again, the reporting aspect is covered through my accountant if I wanted them to do it, you know. But it's all done on the site, so I don't really have to worry about that anymore. It took us some time to throw the numbers together and stuff like that. because you got to pay in advance, then you got to balance and everything else quarter by quarter, or if you're doing it every 6 months, or it depends on how your state does it and what you set up with your state, I guess I would say. Let's see here. Let's pop down some more questions. I've been on managed payments for almost a month now. No issues for me on managed payments so far. The only downside is not getting money deposited on the weekends. I mean, I don't know what the time frame is on how they do it. I think it's always the same day of the week. I think I almost want to say I read a sheet that said payments, when you could estimate the payments in there. I think if you type in eBay managed payments payout schedule, I think is what I searched for. Just on a Chrome search, it'll show you a list of the time. You may, and I can't say for sure, but you may be able to call and ask that they do it on a specific date. There might be like certain groups get paid on certain days so that all the funds aren't being transferred on one day, so that the technical aspect of it is, you know, shot out over a whole bunch of days. That would be my guess, because if they're doing them on a daily basis, I don't see why they couldn't do something. You might want to just call and see. Maybe it's just that simple. Do I drop ship? I have in the past, but I don't do it anymore unless I do it for we had a broken record a while ago, and I ended up buying somebody else's record, which they had their record up for like a third of mine. So I bought it from them and I shipped it. This wasn't on eBay though. This was on another one. That's the last time I did a drop ship. I have done it before. I do RA though and FBA, so that's similar. I'll buy something, and before I even get home, I've already listed it if I have pre-existing listings for those items. I don't mind buying multiples or of anything really, as long as it'll sell. Goodly, I did get a notification from eBay one day that they made a 00 deposit on my account. I guess that I had to do with the sales cancellation, but that was weird. It may have been like a test deposit. I'm surprised it would say 00. No, I don't want Walmart buying eBay. That would be terrible. Pop down, pop down. Is managed here's one, Gale Maker. In managed payments, can you start out one way and change later? You can change back and forth between daily payout and weekly payout, I think, anytime. You can't change out of managed payments. Once you're in managed payments, you're in managed payments for good. There's no backing out of it once you're in it. Just FYI. They told me to allow 7 days for every payout to be safe. That is a long time. You're talking about you holding the money for 7 days before you can spend it, or are you talking 7 days before money that's collected will be paid out? With a daily payout, the minute some money is available, and it'll keep going every day from that point on, you are going to get a payout religiously. Every day at a certain point, you get a payout. Every week, a certain day, I get a payout. No matter what, it's always there at that time. And I haven't had, again, I set mine for a week. I'm not sure which version of that you were talking about, though. Camping the Oregon Territory and beyond, welcome. Question on shipping. When does FedEx get taken out of our account? Now, I don't know how that sets up with you. We have a FedEx account, and when I want to ship some heavy items or something, I just go straight to my account and then pop in numbers on eBay is what I do. I'm not sure on the FedEx part. The UPS is going to be fully integrated. I do not think FedEx is integrated, if I'm not mistaken. At least not like UPS will. They've signed a partnership deal with UPS, and I could honestly still see UPS ending up to be the storage facility if eBay does a FBA version like they've talked about. Again, they have one, kind of not had one. Are sellers paying a fee on buyer's state tax like in the old? Yes, they are. And again, I don't mind them collecting a fee on the entire purchase, including that, if they're handling it. Because again, it takes me time to process and record and I'm sorry, my dog's down here, so my sinuses are all over the place. I'm not going to pick her up today, though. Sorry. But yeah, it's the same thing. Easter Bunny. How are you doing? Japan. Welcome, welcome. One of these days, I want to get to Japan and do a nice toy shopping event. Love to get to Japan, actually. Yeah, Hustle and Grind, Calgary. eBay sends me a payment every morning. It's in my bank account the same evening. So that's literally, you'll see it says pending, and then it's posted, usually after 5 p.m. on some people's accounts. I don't worry about when anymore. I've watched it since I've been in it, and every time it's been legit. I was checking every payment. I was checking the fees. I can't find anything wrong. And I was really looking. I was really trying to find something wrong with the whole process. Because, again, they've messed up so much stuff on us in the past. I'm not very trusting anymore. I can't. I can't find something with the process. Again, process. Policies on removing items is a different story, again, as I said. Teespring crashed. Yeah, I haven't even checked my Teespring account. I don't know how long. I've got some designs that they've approved, and I still keep forgetting to put them back in my box. Anyone know about Bullion sales with managed payments? That's the same thing with the categories we were talking about. Those are still banned. You can't do anything with them. My honest opinion is that they may not come back. Coins, bullion, tickets, adult material, all that stuff's banned. And cars technically are too. Again, it might switch over to the classifieds or the car site itself. I'm not sure what they're doing with that, honestly. I don't understand why they are restricting coins. The company Aiden doesn't allow it. Neither does like Apple and what's the other ones? Apple, Amazon, all those other payment services that eBay offers through managed payments. Most of them do not allow currency trading. So you can't sell currency, and it's a high fraud area. There's different regulations with some of the banking industry that's tied to this. It's not necessarily an eBay wanted issue. Now, I do see that eBay, in my opinion, would give up those categories for the bigger dollars, 5 billion versus 12 billion, whatever it works out to, shakes out to. So that would be my take on that one. Personally, again, I really seriously think that eBay wouldn't tell us and just wouldn't talk about it. Why isn't there some notice about it if it was still in the works? I don't see anything, nothing at all talking about it. I was expecting if they really were serious, they'd get it rolling for fourth quarter so you could sell it for Christmas. They got to know that a lot of people like us are sitting on massive amounts of stuff that now we can't sell. I got thousands of adult magazines. I've got probably 1,000 or better in tokens, coins, and things like that. I got paper bills and even books I can't sell in that topic in those categories. Yeah, so it's not necessarily an eBay initiated ban on those items. It has to do with the payment processing service and the payees like Apple Pay. You cannot mess, and I read, in fact, I think I have a video on here on that. I read over the entire contract on Apple Pay. I read over as a business. I signed up like I had a business account, and I read everything that I could or couldn't do as a business and all that stuff on it. And you can't do coin. There's a whole list of it. In fact, I think I might, as I said, have it in a video. Spot price, yeah, I was watching that the other day. I've got some gold and stuff I was debating on selling. I actually didn't go in. I'm holding on to it for now. We've got a few ounce, well, more like 4 ounces, I think, of gold. 10, 14, and 18 karat gold. No bullion. Hang on, let's get to some more questions on it. Hey, Carl, if I missed you, I'm sorry. I think I'm that just down to Yvette. How are you doing? I just had a buyer send a request stating that package says delivered to mailbox, but says it wasn't and wants refund. All you got to do, Yvette, is email or call eBay and tell them it shows delivered and you want it closed. You don't have to refund them if it shows delivered in tracking. You are free and clear. The only option they can do at this point is to report it to their police department and have the police deal with it. You are 100% free and clear if the U.S. Post Office says that item was delivered. You are not responsible. The minute they open up a case on us, I've had it happen before. I've called eBay, said it shows it's delivered. I want the case closed. Say it nicely, and it'll be closed. You can email them through eBay for Business, give them your seller number, give them the item number, and tell them the tracking shows on eBay that the item was delivered and you want the case closed. That's all you got to do. You don't refund them. Don't do anything. If they give you a hassle, you can always block them. Anything once it shows delivered. 100%. That is eBay's standard. I have never had them go back on that. If it's marked delivered, you are free and clear. I've had many cases closed instantly, immediately, as soon as I contacted eBay on that. Carl, the printing labels default to a higher price shipping label instead of what you have assigned to them. I have not seen that at all, Carl. Not once at all on my side. The only thing which I've still been complaining about is them charging for like media in a non-book category, but then not allowing you to pay and ship a media rate because, again, it's blocked in that aspect. It should be blocked from the purchase side, not from our side, the buyer side, or it should be blocked from buyer side and not seller side. It's blocked from the seller side. It makes no sense. Don't charge the person a fee that I can't, be billed for. Now, I still print I just go to PayPal, or I go for pirate ship. I do have a pirate ship. I don't use it but for one of those screwy things. If you got a screenshot of that, Carl, you're welcome to send it. I'll be happy to discuss it in the video too. Aaron, we will buy your coins directly. There's some colonials. There's stuff that should go for some mega bucks. I'm looking for top dollar only because they're stuff I just don't run into. One of them I originally thought it was fake, and sure enough, it's real. I took it to somebody. I have stuff set for free shipping at first class package. When I print a label, Priority Express is pre-selected. Now, I only give them one option, so I don't know. Do you have those other options in there, Carl? Do you have a priority option? Now, somebody else told me that eBay added in other options for shipping that they weren't even offering. Again, I haven't seen it, so I'm just going by what somebody says. I like to see it before I say it's actually happening. I don't doubt you for a minute, though, Carl. That's a tough one. I haven't seen that, so I can't get into that aspect of it. I don't, again, have any other options other than one on every listing for the most part. I'm happy to move one or add one into a listing if somebody says, would you ship it this way? But I don't do it any other way. Nate Rainier is saying that he's only seen it once. eBay did that with my shipping label today. It selected Express when the buyer chose priority. Yeah, that could be an issue if that is happening. And if you're not aware of it or paying attention, pretty easy to hit the purchase button. Money grab, glitch, suggest because of delays. Either way, it's wrong. It is wrong if that is what they're doing. Now, I don't know if I'm frozen here or not. It doesn't show me frozen on my... Yeah, it must just be YouTube again. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. I've got 227 people on. Yeah, it is frozen from there. That's really weird because it's not frozen on my end. It's got to be YouTube. I have no way to fix it whatsoever. I'm rolling fine from what I see on my end. But it definitely is not working on YouTube. You might try reloading your browser because that just seemed to fix it on my end. Let's go down to some more questions. Hopefully I'm moving on some folks. I don't think it's a money grab because who's going to get the money? The post office would be the only one getting the money, or the service. eBay isn't really going to get the money out of it other than maybe a percentage of the fee, but I don't see that as being any huge draw. That just keeps money in their benefits. Again, they're the ones who would pay their own interest. It wouldn't make much sense in my book. Yeah, everything on desktop for us. Just, well, thank you, Joe. Lally, I think. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I list on desktop to draft, then photo on mobile app and list. Yeah, I hate the phone for anything on eBay other than comping. You should put a list of labels you're looking for. It would take me a long time. Most of the labels I'm looking for aren't something that's very common, Annie. That's been my biggest problem. I've got geez, probably half of the ones that I own, half the labels that I have in the book already. Last month we had to refund almost $60 in shipping charges because buyers don't request amount due for multiple purchases. This is for new and repeat buyers. Any suggestions? That's not necessarily the buyer's problem. If they're buying some items, some folks, you may have it set up where they have to pay immediately if you're in managed payments, and they won't have the option if they're just buying it at full price. Now, if they put in an offer, you've got the opportunity to put in, combine them directly. If I do have to combine and I do refund it, I don't mind refunding shipping. I do it all the time. I keep the money, the fees. So if I'm paying 30 cents extra for the listing and I didn't compensate with the handling fee, which I do, and I would actually deduct the percentage of fees eBay's paying me out of the refund that I'm giving them. Again, I'm just refunding them the difference of the cost, and the cost is part of the shipping handling fees or the shipping final value fees eBay's taking. So I deduct that out of my refund. So I don't lose a dime when I refund somebody on shipping at all. I'm not going to mess around. There's nothing wrong with doing that because, again, you're refunding them the difference, and the difference is part of that, is part of the final value fees on the shipping itself. So, again, I don't worry about that. At least that's how I do it. There is no way to fix it if they're buying straight out, though, from what I see, unless you make sure that you're not in forced payment. Susan Arrington, how are you doing? Yeah, I got you, managed payment there. He might, yeah, I was saying that too with what Annie's made a comment. Again, I'm probably behind on that, but I usually send him out an invoice if I see, not from the phone, and I hate doing that from the phone, but if I see that it's the same person, and then send him an email usually. That's usually what I do. But again, if they're buying it immediately, you can't do anything because they got to pay right away in many cases, depending on how you have it set up. Hey, Penny, how you doing, Penny Day? I had a package through eBay shipping that was sent to Sweden that was supposed to go to Australia, and it's stuck. Be careful shipping to Australia. I've had many multiple issues sending there. I shipped to Australia. I haven't had an issue shipping to Australia. Now, one thing, I got a video coming out on, what's it called? Global Shipping Program, too, because there's some issues going on with that are getting to be very drastic if you're selling collectibles, and it's something that's should you or shouldn't you not even be on global shipping anymore. There's tons of complaints going around about stuff that's going on with that. I can't say it's a bad program for our side of it because once it hits Kentucky, if something happens to the package, eBay destroys it, they're paying for it. I've never had them not honor a complaint of mine. So if the package arrives in Kentucky, and the minute they send that package on or arrives there, if it's damaged at all, it's eBay's fault. And they cover the cost. So don't ever refund somebody if it's a managed payment and the item was damaged. Don't ever refund them. eBay is responsible. Let's see here. Hey, leather is my t-shirt would be a good one. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the likes. I thought it was just on my end. I know that they were working to bury the dislikes. So even at some point, you're not going to be able to leave a dislike unless you've watched a certain percentage of the video. That's in the works from everything I've read and watched. And like the thumbs up and stuff like that too, they don't mean anything from our end of it. It's all interaction. So if you leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it doesn't change a thing on my end. Not at all. It doesn't push me down. It doesn't do anything. It's all interaction. So even someone leaving a dislike still technically helps the channel. I'd rather have all positives, but I always get the other channel haters and stuff, it seems, that come out and have to subscribe to my Facebook stuff just so they can know when I put a video, just so they can go and leave a feedback. A thumbs down. I don't. It's ridiculous, but that's what people do apparently. Buyer pays for the entire purchase, then I have to do the refund. Does this have anything to do with the items being 5% off? So there. See, if somebody makes an offer, it's a different story. I price high, and then most everything that I sell is on an offer. If I have to refund again, it only takes a second. I just open up another window and then send the refund out. Shipping adjustments at the bottom option of refunds. Doesn't hurt you at all if you deduct the difference. It takes 20, 30 seconds longer. I don't want to put anything else on the buyer. So I'm not going to push, hey, you better do this, you better do that. Whatever's easiest for them. A lot of what we sell may be people who aren't prone to being whizzes on the computer, so I'm fine. I don't say anything anymore about that. You know, if they email me or ask questions, I tell them whatever, I'll give them the best answer, what would help them out the most. I don't even worry if it hurts or helps me, as long as I'm not financially out. I do all kinds of stuff. I sometimes have to combine, like, cancel 30 auctions or 30 listings, combine them to one so I can send one mass invoice, and then, delete them one by one by one. It takes time, but I don't mind doing any of that if it means a sale. I don't care. I'll do them one by one if that's how the refunds are. I still don't care as well. I'm fine with that. It's just I've always done it that way too. I've always just given a refund for the items if they pay. I don't ask them to do anything extra. Make it as easy, as simple, as the least amount of stuff the buyer has to do anything. That's my take on it. Make it smooth, painless, so everything was handled by you. It'll make, if it's somebody who's a decent person, they're going to say, wow, he took the extra step, did this, did that, refunded the money without being asked. The best part about doing that is you're refunding stuff, and they didn't ask for it. They'll think you're an honest person well over anybody else who they have to ask for that money back. So I'm just my opinion. I'm always to that side of it. Once they've paid, you're right, it's a refund. It's only if they wait to pay can you get an invoice together for them with shipping discount. Bye, Kathy. Good to have you on tonight. No, you can't do anything with an invoice after payment. Not at all. You can't do a thing. All you can do is refund. Again, it's going to take you a few extra minutes to refund, and that's about it, is what I see on it. I would rather just refund and not ask or put out any questions to the buyer. Again, make it as simple, as easy as you can for them. You do the work, Most of the time, we're talking good money here, so I don't really care if I got to do a few extra minutes on a transaction or two. Most of them buy it on a make an offer, or I'll send out offers to watchers. They can accept those without immediately paying if you're sending them an offer. It's the same thing like if I get an offer. So that's the play. Most of mine are bought that way. Like probably 80% of what I sell is bought on make an offer or offer to watchers. And it works perfectly for me, that aspect of it. So it just depends. Again, there is an option in eBay to require immediate payment. You have to go into site preferences to turn that off. I think it's automatically always on unless you go turn it off, just like some of the other features that they offer. Let's see here. I'm trying to get to questions, so I'm not trying to miss any, but I'm trying to get to questions on managed payments. Annie, the last I saw them saying they were working on the banded categories was last February. That's probably about when I saw it, and that's probably about when they announced it to a lot of people that it would be banned in the first place. So I don't have any faith that they're going to bring those categories back. None of the other platforms that have the same payment services have that. Now, I personally can't see why they couldn't figure out a dual payment process that again, I can do that in Visual Basics. We had to do stuff like that where you have two sources of something coming in, and you have to be able to do one or the other based on some other criteria. That's part of my college. I mean, a basic college graduate should be able to, in IT and in coding, should be able to write a script or a code that would do that. I could do it. And I'm not some whiz on it. Visual Basics isn't some majorly complicated coding compared to some of the C+ or something that I learned. I don't understand how they can't do it. I don't understand unless they just don't want to spend the time or money, or they just don't have a bright enough person in their IT department. I don't know. I just know that I'm sure if I couldn't do it, I'm sure I personally know somebody who could. And I really think I could do it myself, too. With FedEx, if you have an account, you can get a lower rate than going and getting it straight out. I got 4/19/92 NHL patches set frame, low numbers with 25 made with all teams. I'm not up on NHL patches, especially the numbered ones. I usually don't mess with sports at all. So I couldn't tell you, but I would just check out comps on that if I was you. Alexis Williams, if a package weighs more than 5 pounds and where it's going, fairly cheap. I'm not sure on that. Maybe I'm missing something. Do you know if there are fixing the reporting functions, just my reports and better? I'm not sure on reporting. I can print pretty much any reports I need straight through eBay, so I'm not sure where your setup is or where your issues are with that. We're using Pirate Ship Eduardo, and we love it. Their discounts are better than eBay, and they rock. Yeah, I haven't had any issues. I don't use Pirate Ship very much, but I don't pay for shipping, so I don't really care about that. I give them, and I don't, if like with the discounts through eBay, I don't give the buyer the discount. I keep the difference to cover my fees and any shipping supplies that I have to buy. At the end of the day, I don't pay a dime for any shipping supplies, and I don't get them free either. I got to buy them. It's all figured out into me keeping the difference and stuff, and it also covers the fees that I pay eBay for them collecting the shipping. Let's see here. Carl, but we need to be able to deduct the sales tax you were charged from the gross for Fed tax. They need to keep their reporting easier to get that number. From what I understand, it is there. I haven't pulled it up in the last, say, month or so, so I'm not sure on the tax aspect of it there, personally. I know I read how it's supposed to be and that the report is there. I'll ask my accountant next time I talk to him what he did for it. Like you say, I don't make anything from mentioning them, but I am really happy. Yeah, I have no affiliation with Pirate Ship at all. They send me my money every Tuesday. It's available in my bank account. Cat Llama, if you want to see my store name, all you got to do is watch one of my What's Sold on eBay videos. I've got a playlist titled that. It's shown in every one of those videos. It's probably 50 to 100 of those videos up. Probably a good 100 or better. Book Retro Bar in Australia, how are you doing this evening? Yeah, Carl's saying his comes in Tuesday and it's available on Thursday. It does tell you that there could be a 48-hour delay with your bank. Mine, I think, does post the same day. It just depends on your bank. Literally, it's up to your bank on how soon it posts. Susan, how do I know postcards are worth buying? If I don't know them by heart, I look them up while I'm there. I know my postcards, so... And I don't mind buying an extra one or two and being wrong on it personally. I know what to look for. I've been doing postcards for 25 years. If you don't know them, you should know the basics. I've got videos just on postcards. I've got quite a few, actually. Bill Betts, I put a priority flat rate label on my own bubble mailer. Since post office being cheap provided me them. To my surprise, it went through. It was £10. That's surprising. You can get dinged for that, so I personally wouldn't do that. Just FYI, you can get in trouble for that, Bill. I would not put a priority flat rate on a non-priority flat rate box. That is maybe a crime. I don't know if he's going to go after you, but, you know, I don't break the rules at all. I don't want anybody to be able to come back and ding me for anything. For weekly payments, can you choose what day you want? I didn't see any date choice, but you may be able to call and give them a specific reason. I would imagine that would be doable. Yeah, Carl's saying the same thing. Has anyone been denied payment from eBay for selling something for like 20 days? These already been paid for by the buyer. Gary Ledbetter, it depends. There could be some issue with the buyer. I would contact them if they're holding money for something, truthfully, and see. Maybe it was some glitch on your part. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing I can do on the screen freezing. That's literally YouTube. Thrifty, healthy, and happy. I have one with a global shipping program that went to France that shows delivered, and the guy is saying he didn't get it. He also opened a case and PayPal. eBay for Business said it to work with PayPal. If he opened it up with PayPal, you have to work with PayPal. eBay can't do anything on that. The only thing you can do is supply screenshots and go to the post office's site and show that shows it was delivered. That should hopefully get you off the hook. PayPal has been very good on stuff like that with us. Billy Girly Girl, how are you doing? Yes, please hit the like button if you haven't. Let me see here. No, only option on listing is first class. I can't answer you on that one at all, Carl, but if you can please get me a couple screenshots, you can block out something if you want, and I will fully put it out there that that's happening. Yeah, I know, Joe. You can add shipping options at the end even, and at any time you want, really. I don't ship any other way. I just ship the same way. I've got shipping policies, and that's it. That's all I worry about, honestly. It's 100% of my stuff every time. 50 or 60 a day. Wow. I have not seen that even once. Maybe there's a setting, Carl. Maybe you need to go in and check your settings. That's kind of odd. I checked site preferences like a month ago when we first got in there. Maybe there's some setting they switched on you. Yeah, again, I can't do anything about the page freezing up. The old man's pics, how are you doing? Let's see here. Talking about iPad, okay. Yeah, I still don't know why it's freezing. It's not freezing when it's being broadcast out on my end at all. Still available payments over time from buyers. Yeah, in fact, they offered something new. You can, just like the PayPal payments, they've got some option for the managed payments coming out now if it's not out already. Yeah, we're just going to hit a few more and then I'm going to call it an evening. I didn't plan on going this long, but that's fine. Yeah, I don't like eBay forcing options. Like, I hate that they'll, again, like I said, with the shipping, it'll allow me to collect money for a media mail, but it won't allow me to ship them unless it's in certain categories. Or there's search results. If they show you a search result, they put you in a specific category. Again, people are missing your listings because they may not realize that you may have listed that out of the specific category. They should stop making choices for us totally. Be done with making choices for us. Everything should be set up without anything selected for everything we do if it's our store, and we should be able to pick what we want or don't want in the listing. It's our listing. We're paying for that listing. We should be able to have autonomy from our own listings. It's annoying. That is annoying. It has nothing to do with managed payments, so to speak, but and Gary said his changes to free shipping. Now, again, Dom had a video on something about that, too, the other day. I, again, haven't seen that. I don't use the app at all. So when I heard it was mostly on the app, again, I could be wrong, but yeah, I check every one of the prices every time. I've always done that. I don't know. I mean, I always look to make sure that if it's a card, it's in a certain range or whatever it is. If anything looks high or it's above, because on the left side, it tells you how much they paid. So I always compare those numbers one by one by one by one all the way down the list, even if it's 100 of them. I always do that. Yeah, Joe Laley, we're going to talk about global shipping. I've been chatting with some folks. There are some major issues with it. Yeah, Carl, same thing on Primetime's video, Doms. Easy. Yeah, I don't have the issues like that. If something's damaged, eBay pays for it. So if it's over £4 on my end or it's a certain price, it automatically is only global shipping. That way, if something happens, I'm not out any money. You know, doesn't help. The buyer has to deal with eBay then. I don't have to deal with it, though. You used to be able to leave negative feedback for buyers for a long time, actually, when eBay first started, but you can't do that anymore these days. My dog won't leave me alone. Yeah, because Gary's talking about we should be able to leave negative feedback for a buyer. But that's been a long 10, 15 years ago. Avante Avenue had an X out the live show to give a thumbs up, then went back to live chat. Huh? That's really weird. Maybe it just doesn't show up on the likes or dislikes while you're in the chat, which is really weird. I think we're going to end it here. It's going on 2 hours. I'm trying to keep it down in time. I'll get to all the emails and Patreon as I can. I'm probably only going to be up for another hour today. I do have some stuff to do real early in the morning. This weekend I'm working on Patreon stuff and videos. So this weekend I wrote out some surveys and things like that. You'll probably see a couple small posts. You'll see some photos that I took of some stuff going around here to give you some ideas on things. Patrons will also see tomorrow the rest of the stamp video. You'll see the next day, I think I got the public domain coming out, and then the toy one still. I'm trying to shoot for this weekend, or Monday morning at the very latest, depending on time frame. Another video will be out here tomorrow. It's going to go into some very, I think, important issues that should help folks out there. Hopefully it was helpful today. If you haven't hit the like button, again, we still have around 220 some odd people in-house right now, and I do thank everybody for being in. This does take time for me to do the show. I've got to do stuff before it and get stuff ready and stuff, so I do appreciate everybody coming in. If you are having issues, I already told you earlier what to do. Manage payment error, put in an email title, and you can send that to my email address that's shared here on YouTube, and I will look at ones or have one of the employees print up just the ones that say that. So if you have a picture of something on the payments that's going in error, you can show me something where it's turned something where it's not supposed to be, please do send something. It'd be interesting to see, again, because I don't see a lot of that stuff. I don't have those issues. I don't know if it's certain areas or certain categories, or I don't know. There might be some internal differences that one account has it and another account doesn't. So if I had enough of those, maybe there'd be some way to pull it together. I don't know. I don't trust eBay's technical skills that much, so maybe they don't even have a clue on what to look for and something like that. I was told in a follow-up video, I think from Dom's, that it was something that was supposed to be fixed. And I know there was even a comment that was, the whole discussion was on e-commerce bites, and I saw it on Reddit like a week or two ago as well. But again, no one supplied a photo. I don't like to go into something unless I have proof. I want to see it. I got to see it. I'm sorry, that's just me. I want to see if something that I would see as proof that it's actually going on. Again, I don't doubt that stuff happens, but without some type of proof, I don't want to really go out and push too much out there unless it's an opinion, different story. But do appreciate everybody coming out. I got a lot of content going on, a lot of stuff going on. Halloween's coming up here, fourth quarter's coming up here. Just stay on the ball. Right now, it's still good sales as long as you're doing well and you're doing what you're supposed to do and listing stuff constantly. You should still be doing okay in my book. Right now, our sales picked up. My phone if you've noticed me picking up, we've been getting sales the whole time through the show, and I've got 3 or 4 in there right this very second. So they're still coming in. I can't complain, honestly, but hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully you have a good evening, and hopefully your sales are doing well. So we are going to end it. My throat's about dead from my dog sitting down here, but I do appreciate everybody coming on tonight.